Hey everyone, Brendan Snyder here. How are you? Thanks so much for joining me, and welcome to a special review for the brand new and long overdue new 38 special Milestone album, their 13th studio album, and first in 21 years. As I said, long overdue. Just came out on September 19th of 2025. I'm going to do a full review, unboxing, break it all down. We'll get into it here in just a bit. But before we start, if you're new to my channel and haven't already hit the subscribe button, please do. Also leave a comment, hit like, all those things do help support my channel. I'd greatly appreciate it. And of course, as an added bonus, by turning on notifications, you'll never miss an episode and stay up to date on really cool things like this with a review for the brand new 38 special Milestone album. So the band's had a long history, man. They go back to 1974, which means they just recently celebrated their 50th anniversary, and it is so good to be getting a brand new album this far into their career. So the band didn't release its debut album until 1977, but they didn't really take off at this point. It wouldn't be until the band's third studio album, Rockin' Into the Night, 1979, an absolute classic. In particular, just reissued by Bad Reputation Records, comes with a bonus live album. You should check it out. But this one here is where the band had the title track co-written, or actually it is co-written by three guys, but just written by outside writers, Jim Peterick, Frankie Sullivan, and Gary Smith, all members of Survivor. And of course, having done that, it really changed the course of the band's sound from being Southern rock to being more AOR melodic rock style. And so with the follow-up album, Wild Eyed Southern Boys in 1981, the band doubled down. There are 4 co-writes with Jim Peterick on that one. They did it again on this album, Special Forces. But then following this, they really moved away from the co-writes with Jim Peterick. And for a few albums, they didn't do that. But then he returns on their previous 3 albums. So Bone Against Steel in 1991. That sort of finished off the original run for the band. And then there was a long break, and they returned with Resolution in 1997. And we get a few co-writes there. And their last album, up until this brand new one, Drivetrain in 2004, also had some co-writes. But I can't believe 21 years between these albums here. So though the thing is, on the new album, the reason I was pointing out all that stuff regarding Jim Peterick is that he writes all but 2 of the songs on this one. So for me, it really is like a full-on 38 special album. I'll get into more of that in just a minute here. 13th studio album, 2 decades is too long to wait for a brand new album. It's always kind of boggled my mind how it is that bands can go that long without making a new album. What is it? Does life just get into the way? Do they decide it's not financially feasible to do it? Do they just lose interest after time? They get into other things? Who knows? This has happened to so many bands, and then it seems like after a 20-year break, all of a sudden we're getting a lot of these bands back, like Jethro Tull and Yes and Styx and a whole bunch of others. And now we've got 38 Special doing the same thing, making a return. And I hope this is not the last one. I hope this kicks off a new run for them, and we start getting an album every year or 2 from them to make up for lost times, the way that some of those other bands have done. So the lineup on this album here, we still have Don Barnes on guitar and vocals. He has been the showrunner on this thing since day one, 1974. Then we get Bobby Capps on keyboards. He joined in 1991. Gary Moffat on drums joined in 1996. Barry Dunaway came in on bass 11 years ago in 2014. And then newest member Jerry Riggs on guitar came in 2019, and I was super excited when he joined the band, and it made it even better that they finally recorded a new album that he can shine on. Jerry Riggs, if you don't know, had his own band called Riggs back in the early 80s. He was part of the heavy metal soundtrack, having 2 songs on there, maybe even having more success that way than he did with his own solo project. He would join Pat Travers' band and play with him. So I've always had this, love for his guitar playing style, and he just hasn't appeared in enough places doing his own thing, but so glad he is here on this album, and I do think it stands out because of him. The album features 9 tracks on. A little bit bummed that we don't at least get 10. It's only 36 minutes long, too. Great length for a LP, record, a vinyl. But on terms of CD, just a bit short in my opinion, but I'm a child of the late 80s and early 90s when CDs were being filled to the brim at 75 and 80 minutes. I know that going back to the 70s, a 36-minute album is quite normal. So I'm just, stating the obvious with that. Now, of those 9 tracks, 6 of them are co-written with Jim Petrick, 1 solely written by Jim Petrick, 1 co-written by Randy Bachman of Bachman Turner Overdrive, and that's one of my fave tracks on here. And the 1 other co-written song on here is by Rob Wilson. So the album itself was recorded live in the studio. They really wanted to capture the live feel of the band. So it's a little bit more spontaneous and less of that, high-end production sound that we know from the 80s. And the fact that it's been 20 years since we've gotten an album, there's obviously a big jump in terms of the sound and style and whatnot from here, yet we still have all the hallmarks and everything that make this a 38 special album. And what's kind of interesting is that I feel this new album blends better their Southern rock roots with the 80s sound that they became with the AOR and the melodic rock and everything than some of their other ones. So this album here, Milestone, which, as we all know, means you've hit some peak, you've done something, you've achieved something, and certainly they have. But it's also an album that I think brings the band full circle back to their roots. We get that Southern rock flavor, but we still get that 80s sound that we know and love that's on here. And I think it is an absolute great way to celebrate their 50th anniversary, having some brand new material like this. Let's go ahead and talk about some of the standout songs now. Track 3, All I Haven't Said, on here, co-written by Jim Petrick, a very classic sounding song on this album. It's a mid-pace rocker and easily could have been something that would have been part of their repertoire in the 1980s. Track 4, The Main Thing, co-written with Jim Petrick. Again, a nice, fun, upbeat rocker, pulls the album right along, lifts you up after the previous track, and it has a really killer blues rock guitar solo from Jerry Riggs on it. So if you're looking to hear something cool from Jerry, check out track 4, The Main Thing. It's one of the best songs on the album, but it's also got a great guitar solo. Track 5, Long Long Train, co-written with Randy Bachman. As I said, this one here, one of my favorites. It's another mid-pace rocker, perfectly placed on the album too, creating the perfect flow. We're getting some good peaks and valleys as we're moving through the album, and each song flows well into the next one. There's nothing that just seems out of place. Track 6, Looking for My Life, co-written by Jim Petrick, another one that could have come from the 80s, a great AOR track that's on here. It just chugs along at a really good grooving pace. Great position again in terms of the sequence of the album. And track 7, Making Up for Lost Time, co-written with Jim Petrick again. It's another upbeat rocker, perhaps the most classic sounding of songs on the album, and maybe my overall favorite from the album. It's what you would totally expect from the band, at least what I would expect, what I love from the band. I'm getting it in this song here, so it is a personal favorite. All right, let's take a look at the album. This is the front cover of it. Nice big logo right up front, 38 Special, Milestone right there. We see the 5 guys on the back. This is the cardboard packaging, and open it up and we get a slightly different photo of the guys like that. There is a booklet up front. So again, logo, same thing that we just saw. And then we get the album track listing with the co-writes and everything up front. We get some more stuff about the album and more band photos, which is nice. Sometimes you just don't get enough of those things. No lyrics within it, but all good in my opinion. And the disc itself in the back side of it there. No special sleeve or anything, but that is the whole thing. And so, bottom line, 2 decades on, in my opinion, is far too long to wait, but was it worth the wait? Yes. It's absolutely good. It is not a letdown. It is not disappointing. I'm enjoying this album thoroughly. Sort of like track 7, which is called Making Up for Lost Time. I do feel like that's what this album is. They came back in full force, sounding like 38 Special, providing an album that is as good and holds up in place with their catalog, and it's making up for that lost time. And I hope that they take that to heart and put out some more albums going forward and really do make up for lost time. My only kind of complaint on it is that it's 9 songs, 36 minutes. I really could have wanted more, but sometimes that's a good thing too, that they leave you wanting more. There's no filler on this album. You like every track. It's a good thing. The production on it is a bit raw. It is less of that 80s polished production, less of the bombast of that 80s sound. But it was recorded live and they wanted it to have the live feel. So it's more spontaneous. It's more as you would expect to hear them live in concert. Everybody sounds good. There's good vocals. There's good lead guitar work. There's a good rhythm section in here. The bass, the drums, all of that stuff sounds really good. They're playing solid. They're playing tight. And again, that's another hallmark of what we love about 38 Special. So bottom line, album is really solid from start to finish on here. It is a welcomed, long overdue addition to their fantastic 51-year history. So I am really glad and totally recommending that you go check out the brand new 38 Special Milestone album, their 13th and long overdue in their catalog. So there you go. That's my review of the album. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have checked out this album and are a fan of 38 Special, weigh in. Let me know your thoughts. Do you enjoy the co-writes with Jim Pedrick? Do you not? Do you wish they had done something else? I don't know. But I gotta say, I'm loving it. I hope you are too. If not, go check it out. See what you think. All right, everyone. Take care. Have a good one. And I'll talk to you real soon. Bye-bye.